Hey everyone, it's Paul here, David, and we've got our photographer for the amazing documentary, which we actually haven't seen yet, but we've seen some of the pre-recordings or the off-cuts, and they look awesome. So we're still on the island. We're in Florianopolis. This is where we do the immersion part of the retreat. David's here for about another week until he flies back to Australia. So we thought, what a great opportunity, because Michael's just came back from London, shooting some of the other half of the documentary, to have a sit down and have a conversation. So yeah, Michael, here we are in your city. Were you born in Florianopolis?
Yes, I'm from here, and I really like this different kind of environment for a podcast, right?
Yeah, it's
Usually,
very
we're used to see, a room, a desk, and a studio microphone. But I like this. Do you like this?
Sitting on a rock
Yeah.
in a dog park. So if you see any dogs coming through and doing their thing, yeah, that's why.
Yeah. Imagine behind us some dog doing stuff.
Marking their territory.
Yeah.
There's three big dogs over here. There's going to be some dogs. You're going to sniff us out, lift a hind leg, and piss over there. It's all right. We're in their turf right now.
Yeah, this is Brazil. Yeah, I'm from here. I was born here in Florianopolis, in the island, and then I moved.
Does that makes you Manazinho?
Manezinho.
Manazinho is the name
He
of
knows.
the person who's born in that location. Like a person born in Rio is a carioca.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, she was born in Porto Alegre. She's a gaúcha. I
And-
learned this through learning Portuguese. So in class, we learned some of the areas.
And I'm a Manezinho.
Manazinho.
And my family are Korean, from South Korean, and they meet each other in Brazil, in São Paulo, and then they went to Florianopolis, a calmer place. I was born. We lived in Paraguay. My family now, yeah, and my family now they live in United States, and my mom is still here. My father now he's living in South Korea again. He came back. So I don't feel that I belong, in a place. I feel like I'm an astronaut because in Brazil I'm not Brazilian, in Korea I'm not Korean, and United States also I'm not also Korean, Asian, and also I'm not Brazilian. Yeah, always a astronaut.
The fancy way of saying is cosmopolitan. There you go. I'm a cosmopolitan man, a man of the world.
But I also think it gives you the freedom to float to what you connect with.
Actually,
Because you're not confined to a cultural.
at the
way.
beginning, I felt so insecure because I don't belong anywhere, So after growing, I felt that I'm a free man. I feel the freedom. I don't need to fit somewhere. I can be myself and be comfortable and only adapt a part of myself where I am, who I am, also about cultures. I'm very comfortable to be in a different culture, and I'm very curious when I see someone speaking in English or Spanish. Here in Brazil we speak Portuguese, and I just like, oh, does he need any help? And
So, with your comforting cultures, how was the culture shock? You've just been in England.
Yeah.
You've just been in the UK, finishing off shooting the documentary and getting all the footage and everything like that. How was the culture shock in England compared to here?
oh, it was my first time in UK. So the first thing was the preconception. In English we say preconceptions.
Preconception.
Yeah. I was kind of okay. Let's go. Let's be kind of low expectations, and the first thing physically is the way of driving. You know.
Oh, the left side.
Yeah, I can't figure out. And
You're
then
crossing the road, you gotta just look both ways.
and then the circle.
Roundabout.
Yeah, that was a nightmare. The
Do you know our city in Canberra, where we're born, David and I, is the city of roundabouts.
Oh man. First, as a pedestrian, okay, where do I have to look, man? I'm gonna look everywhere. And then I was thinking, as a driver, I'm gonna crash at the first round what?
Roundabout.
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 Yeah, that was
Okay.
good
Yeah.
job.
You got it. You got it.
And also, uh, the people were kind of receptive, warm, and like friendly. But my first, preconception was, oh, everybody will be like cold and rude and stuff.
And pale.
Yeah, but it was very, very everybody, like locals and also people that in the store, people walking around, and also in the subway, in the underground, right? Underground. I asked
tube.
some information. People went very receptive.
I think. Like I know my experience of England is that English people and Australian people have the same kind of humour, so we can give each other shit, and there's good banter that goes along. So I've always found that I got along well with English people just because we could give each other crap and have it bounce back and be okay. Because as I've come to realise, my sense of humour doesn't always travel well. And that sometimes there's a lot of things that get lost in translation, and that I'm not for that it's not for everybody. But yeah, some cultures get it. So that's what I get whenever I go back to England.
I was gonna say with the preconception, because for instance, Brazil, there's a big preconception for us foreigners that Brazil is a certain way, like it's very dangerous, and it's basically one big giant favela where everyone's dancing
Or
with
one
their
big jungle.
jungle, favela, or carnival.
Yeah, carnival.
While everyone's kicking a soccer ball.
dancing, kicking a soccer
Okay.
ball, then robbing each other.
And they're depending on where you go, yeah, that exists, but it's not everywhere. And what people don't see is that Brazilian people are very warm and very welcoming and very polite and very nice, and the culture is a very happy culture. Like the second the sun's out, I said to David, because he was staying here for 2 months, I said, right, if it's a Friday or a Saturday night, you're going to hear music. So don't be annoyed if you're trying to go to sleep and there's music, because it's a Friday and Saturday. You don't have to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
People are listening to music, they're having a barbecue, they're having a beer. So if the sun's out or it's a weekend, there's this very happy vibe. And I felt that the second I came to Brazil. So my preconception, this idea was, whoa, Brazil's actually quite cool, and it's very much on my wavelength of the vibe. But depending on where you are, like in Rio de Janeiro or São Paulo or even Porto Alegre, where my girlfriend is born, okay, it does fall into some of these preconceptions. But Florianopolis, here where now you live, and where we have the retreats, you could be anywhere in the world right now. You could be in Europe. You could be in Australia. You could be on it's an island where a lot of people in Brazil have moved to, because it's like you're in Brazil without being in Brazil.
Yeah, the south part of Brazil and also here in Florianopolis, it's kind of different if you compare the other areas of Brazil. Brazil is so big, right? So I agree with you. I really like the balance of south of Brazil here in Florianopolis. Of it's small, there are a lot of nature. People, walk um through the nature and nice landscapes, going to the city, right, or going to work,
Yeah.
and
You can't not see nature or
yeah,
green. There's green everywhere you look.
yeah, but also we have a lot of traffic. We have city problems, and also, you know, it's, it's not that big like a big city like São Paulo that you have everything, but I prefer being stuck in a traffic looking the sea here in Florianopolis than looking some buildings and some light poles like São Paulo, a big city.
Well, you're a visual guy and you're a visual artist. So, I mean,
Faz
look,
sentido.
I'd prefer that too, you know what I mean? But you're also a visual artist and everything like that. So you're seeing different things. So do you find that well, question. So you're a videographer, filmmaker, storyteller. What got you inspired what brought you, what lit that up and inspired you to go down that path?
Uh, Now I have very clear, but I didn't. Um, I'm a only child, right? Only child, um, and immigrant parents. They're always working. I spend a lot of time by myself, and I'm a very curious guy. So I used to, see things and being kind of, do I see as everybody sees? Like, wow, look that tree. And then sometimes I got my friend like, do you see that things that is moving? And what? It's a tree, man. And then I started, man, do do people see as the same as me? And then I started to draw, but I don't have that patience or that skill. So I'm gonna draw something like fast, but for what? Only me can only me can understand the drawing,
yeah.
but the drawing. But if I show to someone, what is this? Oh, I saw that part of the tree moving. I don't get it. See? And then, okay,
I don't see it.
yeah, I
I
don't
don't
see.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Just looks like scribbles to me. Okay, I swear it's a tree. I swear it's a tree.
Yeah, and then my father had a hobby that was collecting equipment. He was more like a photographer that likes equipment than the photographer that likes take pictures.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a it's like a
I
car.
like to collect pots and pans, but I don't like to use them.
But if you see, there are a lot of people that collect old cars, but
Okay.
yeah,
So he collects what
equipment, photo equipment.
cameras.
That sound, without getting too woo-woo, sounds kind of synchronistic. That your
Yeah, I
old
was about to say that.
your
That's
old
just
man
perfect,
is
isn't it?
Yeah. My dad was a collector of old photography equipment that he never used, ever, and had no desire to use. And then I and I had this desire to make manifest,
Capture moments.
capture moments somehow that I couldn't draw. It sounds like, I mean, I don't know. It sounds pretty perfect. I don't
You
want to put words into your story. I don't want to tell your own story, but
But you saying that with that voice in English looks more interesting than in my mind.
good.
Yeah. So okay, when my father, sometimes I spend a lot of time by myself, and I was curious, and sometimes I opened the drawer, the cabinet of the equipments, and then when I saw a film inside a camera, I took some pictures and I put again there, and then I waited my father to develop the film, and then sometimes I went and oh, this is my picture, and I took
That's very dangerous.
yeah, and sometimes
Very dangerous because your old man
Don't touch my stuff!
You didn't see what
Don't
kind
touch
of
my
photos
stuff!
your dad was taking. It's in the drawer. That could be it. That's a minefield, dude. If you navigated that, you could have. I hope they weren't digital cameras, man.
Did you find any naughty
No.
photos?
No. Only.
I think that's what David's was saying between the lines here.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Just I didn't want anything to be lost in translation.
No. No. I saw only, normal standard pictures, and the crazy picture.
Good. This is why you're not scarred, and this is why you're still a photographer. I've got another synchronistic event. Perfect.
But
It's like
They were in a different drawer. He couldn't. He was only young. He couldn't reach this drawer. Your dad's smart. He thought ahead. Okay, I'm gonna put this in a higher drawer.
yeah, that's it.
but usually the weird photos was mine, because different angles, different things, and then my father, I think he knew, this is not mine. This is
These are too good to be mine.
or with too weird, too abstract. And then I took the picture, the photos, and interesting. And I just kept doing it. And I used to love more cars, and I still love cars. And my uncle from United States, he used to send me two American magazine, very nice. I think Car and Driver and Motor Trend, both nice magazines. And I saw a black Corvette in a black studio, but I saw everything with a black leather, interior leather, and I was like impressed because, man, it's a black car in a black situation, black environment, but I can see
The color still stands out.
and then also the details,
So you've got a very visual eye for detail.
and then I saw, whoa, how the photographer did that, and then it's light. It's all about light, texture, light and shadows.
Not everyone would be able to see that.
I was like a very young, fatty Asian guy. And then, okay, I like this. I like the light. And I started to see how light works on stuff.
Can manipulate
and
setting.
Yeah. And I started to read the books of my father about lighting, about photography techniques. And I can manipulate, I can draw with light, but using the camera because I don't have the patience to draw. Yeah. So that was the spark.
It's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's really awesome. I didn't.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
And then I started to develop more that side with digital camera because film expensive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And when did you see? Okay, maybe this is something. Maybe I can do this and take this further. Like, how did it transition from just a hobby or something that you like to be like, actually, this? Because
I can make
because
money
look,
from this.
yeah,
I can survive. I can.
Because I like playing sport when I was a kid, and I like playing cricket, basketball, football, everything. But I knew very early on that I was never going to be a footballer, basketball player, or a professional cricket player, because Paul could still beat me at cricket every time. So if I can't beat Paul, I can't go professional. So it never went beyond hobby that I just like to do all the time.
Never.
So no.
Never,
So
like maybe I can try this to like a
I
professional.
think with a lot of sports people, not all of them. I'd say probably 80% of them, they're very good. It's like they are born. They tick that box. Not everyone
beyond the average, right?
Yeah, it's like they've got it. Their body is built for that, and they train it because not all athletes live like an athlete.
Ah.
So, but they're so naturally gifted in that that they can still be athletes. Then there's a small few that are like the Cristiano Ronaldos and the Messis that are born that, and they're athletes in their lifestyle and everything they do. But through my friends who are involved with a lot of these athletes and coaches these athletes, because I assume that they're all athletes and they all have a 100% athlete lifestyle and they're just, everything is perfect. And then I was really was kind of surprised when I was like, no, a lot of them actually don't know a lot of the holistic stuff that I've studied and that my brothers have studied. They don't practice it. They're just very gifted. They do train hard and they work hard, but they're just very good at their sport. But I think there's a smaller few people who they're not as good, they're not as gifted, and they still make it because they're just super, 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 super hard workers. But yeah, David was like, I'm not going to be that small few that works over time.
I was the other guy. I was the opposite to you. I never really did much of the photography, but I could draw.
Okay.
David was an amazing drawer.
I could draw what was in my head.
Oh yeah.
And everything like that. But again, it never got to the point where I thought, I'm going to do something, this is going to be my thing. It was something I enjoyed. I still do, but on the rare opportunities. But what was that point where your hobby turned into something more?
It's a funny story because, like in Brazil, we have a year that you have to choose what you want to do. And then you have to do a big test to get in the college or in the university.
How old are you when you did this?
What?
How old were you?
Like 17?
Because every 17-year-old knows exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't be listening to my 17-year-old self had so many shit ideas.
It didn't take me till I was. It didn't take me till I was really about 30. I'm not going to steal from your story.
Yeah.
To
No problem.
not like be 100%, not even 100%, just to feel very secure in myself and what I was doing. 20, I became a personal trainer. 30, I started studying holistic health. But it was around that time that I felt like this is my path. This is what I've come to do. It's health. But it wasn't until it really sunk. I think you need a little bit more life experience to understand who you are as a person and who you're not, to really understand this is my focus. But I'm not saying anything about you, more the system.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I tell you what, I mean, if a girl I liked said, you'd look really good in a doctor's robe at 17, I'd have probably
I'm going to be a doctor.
Funny you should say, because that's exactly what I signed up for. So I guess we're going to be study buddies, and maybe we should hang out more often. That would be all it'd take as a 17-year-old David. That was where my priorities were. I was not very skilled.
And also, why do we need to think about our future?
At 17,
It's similar in
similar
in Australia.
You got to do
people going to university and stuff.
It's like that time before to go to the university, right?
So you're not old enough to buy an alcohol. You're not old enough to drive. You're not old enough to do a lot of things. But you know what? I want you to make the biggest decision of your life.
And spend 4 years studying it.
But you're still a child.
And get into a lot of debt that is going to be depending on what you study, is going to take you a very long time to pay off. And go.
You know what? It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's easy. So, to illustrate that, I was, thinking. I was a very fatty guy, and I started to train taekwondo, and I got very lean, and I was like 15 years old, and then I was training for competition because I won one competition, and I was wow, I can't do that, and I fucked my niece, and the doctor said, "Oh, you are too young, and you over stress, yeah, and then you have to do gym to get more muscles and then protect and develop more your joints, right?" Okay, I really liked the experience, and then the first option was I'm gonna study educação física. How do you say?
Physical education.
Yeah, because I like the things about the body and stuff, and then I like cars.
You're young, you're exploring. That's what young people do. They explore. Every child puts everything in their mouth. You're not putting things in your mouth, but you're still a child.
Yeah.
So you're exploring, but keep going.
Yeah, and then the second thing, I like cars. I'm gonna study engenharia mecânica.
Mechanical engineering.
Yeah, because I like how cars works and stuff, or automotive design, because aesthetics, visuals, and photography, because
Okay.
so I was thinking about these areas, and then I went to California in the Pasadena Art College, one of the best places to study automotive design. And I went there. My family, they live in California, and also I went there. I loved, and then I took the brochure, and I went to my home with my mom, and then, "Mom, look this," and then she went to the price. Oh, I'm sorry, this is too expensive for me in Brazil to paying in dollars. Okay,
Makes sense.
no automotive design. And I went to, okay, engineer, a lot of money, right? And then I'm not the number guy. I use a lot of numbers in my profession, but I'm not that nerd. I like the physical stuff, but I don't like to be in
Some people.
projecting
Some
stuff.
people really they love that their mathematical
Yeah.
resistance and stimulus. They really
They can stay in a
it
desk.
stimulates them.
Yeah, they can stay in a desk doing all the calculation stuff, but I can't be in a desk 8 hours of a day. So no engineer. So educação física, right?
Physical education.
So I was like kind of that, I was sharing that with my parents. But I'm gonna be tired, right? Very easy.
Gives me more energy, but
I don't know, man.
I could study physical anything about the body. I could study it all day and practice it all day, and I get energy.
I'm kind of
You're looking. You're still searching for your thing.
I'm kind of preguiçoso. I'm not that preguiçoso.
Sobre me dá
Example. When you don't want to walk and I want to drive the car, I don't want to get up and change the channels of the TV. I want to use. I'm lazy. I'm kind of lazy.
Okay.
So okay, I'm too lazy for being that guy. And then I went. Okay,
I thought you just didn't like kids. That's where my mind went. Like, no, do I want to teach kids? Nah.
No, and also adults, I have to be the example, right? But I'm kind of lazy guy. That's why I don't like to draw. Okay, I'm gonna be a professional photographer.
Cool.
Because my father, he likes that. And then I went to my father and I said, "Father, I wanna be a professional photographer." And then he said to me, you will not live with that. It's not a profession. You're not gonna be successful like this. And then I like shiny and why? Because all your money that you're gonna earn, you're gonna spend with the gear. with equipment.
So what I'm looking at right here is you've already done that for me. You've done that part.
Says the guy who bought all the equipment to never use the equipment.
That's a bit ironic.
Actually, I'm actually going to buy the equipment and use the equipment to make money, because people buy the things that come out of the equipment.
I didn't see that.
It's not a sink. Like the way I'm going to do it isn't a sinkhole. I get where he's coming from. It's like, no, photography is buy everything and don't use it. That's what photography is. Yeah, of course it's a sinkhole.
Man, first of all, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I could use that, but you
At the
know,
time.
yeah, you know what I got. I'm gonna prove the opposite, and then after I prove that I can make money, I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna do in my life.
So it wasn't inspiration. It was spite.
In spite?
Spite.
I don't know the word in English.
I don't know the word in Portuguese. But você fez uma coisa para não somente para você. It was for
Yeah,
provar uma point.
I want to prove
Yeah,
the
I'll prove a point. Yeah.
Yeah, to prove
It's
a
like-
point.
Yeah, fuck you.
yeah, like this, like
Yeah,
this.
it's spite.
Yeah, I'm not inspired to, do stuff. I'm gonna prove wrong,
Yeah,
prove
that's
the
okay,
opposite. And then I started to, think about working with photography and make a lot of money, and then buying the less equipment that I need to prove to my father that didn't support my idea, but it was his kind of way to communicate,
I hope you've gone back and thanked him.
Yeah,
For the challenge.
yeah. We went to a very long car trip this year, and now with my maturity, I asked, why did you say that? Why? What?
Probably didn't even
And then,
realize.
what I meant was no. For me, it was the opposite. I was mad. No, I was trying to advise you, but it was my way of communicating.
Sometimes, especially an adult, or from what I'm hearing now, an adult with some wisdom, your father. As a child, we see it as a child. So to see where our parent may be trying to teach us a lesson, we just like, he's being hard, he's not seeing, he's being rude, and he's probably thinking, I'm gonna do this really well to teach him a lesson, and he did, and it took you how long
For what?
to learn the lesson, or to see the beauty in the challenge?
Like 2 years?
2 years until you could see what your father was doing, or 10 years?
No, 2 years. Can you ask me again differently?
How long your father was offered a challenge, and
Yeah.
it seemed like the challenge was actually quite
Yeah.
a conscious challenge on his part.
Yeah, and
How
for
long
me,
how long did it take you to
realize
Yeah,
2 years because I started.
it's quick.
Yeah, I started to. Do you know the Dunning-Kruger graph?
Yeah.
There's, at the start you feel like incredible, and then, woo, the confidence go up, and then after, at the beginning, and then you realize you don't know
You don't know nothing.
nothing, and then
You think you know everything, and then you realize, actually, now that I know more, I don't actually know anything
And-
at all.
That sounds like every relationship that I've ever been in.
yeah.
I think I've got this covered.
Up.
I don't know anything.
and then you build like slowly, more confident, more knowledge, right? So after 2 years, I did a lot of works for advertising companies. Nice works, getting a lot of money. I had my first studio, the place, and then I proved myself And then my ego went big. I'm incredible. The market, the clients don't know anything. I'm the artist. You know, this is all shit.
Sounds like you're a pimple ready to pop at that point. Like,
And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna close everything because it's a very bad market and nobody understand me. And I closed my studio and I went to United States and I just worked randomly and I worked in a kitchen of a hotel dishing dish washing
Dishwasher,
dish yeah,
washing dishes, dishwasher.
and then also in a event.
Human dishwasher.
Yeah, yeah, it was very intense.
It's hard. It's
wait a
non-stop.
second. So you were. Let me get this straight. So you were doing really well in photography.
Yeah,
You proved Dad wrong
yeah.
in your head. You're doing really well in photography. Then and everyone loves your work. And then you're like going, but none of you guys understand me, so I'm going to go wash dishes.
Sounds pretty cool.
That's a big. That's
It's a big step,
That's a
big leap.
But because I was thinking, this is not for me because I'm very good and nobody sees that
So
I'm
they were happy with your work or not? Oh, not happy.
What?
The people were happy with the work, or is it because they like it but they don't get it?
Can you repeat with
Were you unsatisfied because people were liking your work but they weren't understanding it and they weren't seeing just how intricate things were and how much effort went in?
No. No. I was doing a good work, but I wasn't the best guy to work with
Yeah.
because I was thinking as an artist, an egocentric artist, and not as a professional. A professional serves the client. They are solving some problem. They are, and an artist just I do whatever I want to do, and someone will like it, right?
Yeah, without a client, you don't have a business.
Yeah. So I didn't get it that. So I went to the hotel in the United States. I washed dishes and then I knew people and I went to the banquet setup. So carrying chairs and desk and I don't know why the chairs and the tables of hotels are so heavy. They are fucking heavy.
To dissuade
It was
would-be
to push. It was to
photographers
push you away.
from doing this job and to go back to what they actually like doing.
Yeah.
Just to
The universe was like, right, we're gonna give him the heaviest chairs we got. We're gonna give him the biggest push.
so you're going on this journey. What made you go back? What was it that made you go back? And also, once you were back, what's been the most inspiring piece that you've done?
After like 3 months, I realized that I was complaining for nothing, right? Because I worked a lot in very difficult conditions and earning a little bit of money, and a lot of people in this position were happy because it was the only opportunity of them, like immigrants, right? Working like, oh, this is the best thing of my life. I'm gonna work washing dishes in the kitchen or carrying tables and chairs. And then I was realizing, man, what an asshole I am thinking about, oh, my artist, blah, 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 blah. And then I went to Brazil, studying more about the profession, more about businesses, and less photography, the artist part, and then I put in my mind, I have the best job in the world. I can meet people, new people. I can go to new places. I don't need to go every day at
Same
same
place.
place, and I can earn a good amount of money if compared to another kind of profession.
Sounds like you need a perspective.
Mhm.
That you got a bit of perspective, and grounded in a bit of reality as well, instead of projecting your your views and everything like that onto the piece. You went and saw what it's like to do something else. It's kind of like it's the old thing. Like, you'll be able to tell your kids someday, hey man, if you don't like this, there are worse jobs to have. You should see the crap that I used to do. But it's kind of like, it gives you that perspective. You're like, hey, I wash dishes. I've stacked chairs. I've done I've done
On-
these lower jobs.
Only for 3 months.
Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
it's enough.
Sometimes it's enough though. Sometimes it's enough for somebody to go overseas and go and see what a favela looks like. For them to have a perspective of, wow, I go back to my house in my suburb that is, I mean, if you're coming from Australia, I can speak to the Australian perspective. You could go back to your house in Canberra, where Paul and I are from, and we don't have a favela where we are from.
All the roads, there's no holes in the roads.
Yeah.
Samantha and I joke about this all the time.
Yeah, so-
Buraco.
Yeah, so
Buracozinho.
there's a little, it can give a bit of perspective to see that. I mean, if you want to have more gratitude for where you are, um, you know, recognize that there are parts of the world like in India and everything like that where there's a lot of poverty, and it just gives a perspective, and then you can come back with new eyes to your own situation, and maybe do some problem
It could have been a
solving.
month working, could have been 3, could have been 6. The time is irrelevant. It's the
Yeah.
perspective that
That-
you saw. That's the main thing.
That's what happened to me. And then I really got deep into my profession, and I had a burnout with 27, 28. I went to the doctor because I was like, oh, I can't breathe. My heart is weird. Oh, and I went there, and then he diagnosed
Diagnosed.
like, oh, you are in a burnout. No, you're wrong, man. I'm too young to.
I'm an artist.
No,
You
no,
know who I am? That wasn't that.
no,
Yeah,
it
didn't
wasn't.
arrive
3
yet.
months stacking tables. I'm pretty fucking strong now. I don't burn out.
So I'm kind of I'm very intense. So I went very intense in my profession because it was the best thing of my life, and then building stuff. And I realize now that I always put my personal life aside, and I was very deep only in my professional stuff. But it's very challenging because my profession and my personal life is kind of mixed. I can't turn off and turn on. Oh, now I'm a photographer, because sometimes we are here. I'm looking at tree, and also, oh, if I need to film something, and then I'm always.
I'm doing this with the body all
Yeah.
the time. Samantha's always like, "You don't stop, do you?" I'm like, every time I'm like thinking about a position, or I'm opening my leg. If I'm sitting here, I feel it in my glute. I'm like, oh yeah, stretch. I look at a piece of something. I'm like, how could I use that rock to do like some? So yeah,
But I think this is awesome because first we are doing what we love, so it's mixed, right?
yeah.
Second, um, we live. First is what we love, and what we have some kind of gift. Like you said, an athlete, gifted, and discipline, right? If you mix together, you will be a very nice, very out of the standard, right? But
I think what it is when it's when you have an understanding of yourself to an extent that you are able to feel inspired by something, and that's authentic to you. You're in your most authentic state when you're in an inspired state. It's not somebody doesn't have to walk behind you to motivate you and to say, "Hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do all these different things." If it's something that spontaneously comes up from within you, that's your most authentic state. So Paulie authentically and spontaneously thinks about his body and his stretching and posture and all these different kinds of things, and it comes through. I study the mind and brain, and I'm very switched on to linguistics and human behavior and human perceptions. So, I mean, I can switch it on and off, which is fine. I don't have to jump in and offer advice that isn't solicited. That's something I've had to work on. But I can also, there are also, linguistic cues that I pick up on just because that's what I do, and even on myself as well.
Yeah, but you're now wearing a lens because we're using the word we're talking about photography here. Your lens will see something very quick and naturally, as would mine. Like I'm analyzing how someone's walking, where to see and to see what muscles are tight and how they're training, and looking at a posture and say, oh, their scapula did, and I'm looking, and it's just unnatural, and you're doing
and
it.
I'm looking the light
Yeah.
through
So,
the hair, and then interesting movement.
and sometimes we do it so unconsciously, and we're doing it in our head that we don't even express
You
it.
must give some really good compliments to your girlfriend if you're looking at the light in her hair and how it's all going. I mean, you could really easily come up with some pretty romantic shit without trying. Right there, go, darling. Like the way the light's hitting the side of your face, it just, you're so
sparkles.
bright and everything like that. She must be loving this. I mean, I'm thinking now, and I'm putting myself. I can feel myself putting myself down right now, feeling a little bit inferior with how expressive you could potentially be.
So tell us.
But sometimes it's not good, because sometimes we go to the restaurant and then the lighting is very bad on her, and then
And he can't help himself.
The other side. The other side. Keep your mouth shut then, Michael. I don't know.
the hard shadows under the eyes, and then all the textures.
We wouldn't even notice any of
and-
this. It would just be like this.
And then I see, let's change the position.
I hope if your girlfriend ever listens to this,
So let's
she just fast forward.
let's finish up with the last question.
Okay.
Just to go off what David said, his last question. We're curious about what's been your most inspiring piece of work that you've done to date, and why was it? What made it so inspiring?
Wow.
What stands out?
It's so. Now I'm not. I work with visual, right? But after some maturity, it's not about the final result. It's not about the visual. It's for me. It's about the meaning, about the photography or the video as a tool to change people's perspective or feelings. So for me the best work, or the work that changed my life and also I felt that impact people, was a little documentary that we did in United States, filming a blind painter,
Whoa.
John Bramblett. He had a dream. He always wanted to be a painter. And with 18 years old, he got some epileptic episodes and he got blind. And then he just perceive in his dream, I want to be a painter. And then he went to places and everybody, what are you doing? Impossible. And then one guy of a painting store. Oh, let's try a new technique that you can
It's really
express
cool.
yourself. And then he has synesthesia, and then he listened to music, and then he saw image and colors, and then he paints. It's not abstract. It's kind of realistic, you know. So,
images.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have a link to this documentary?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
We can
let's link it in to whoever's listening to this. There'll be a link, and I'm definitely going to be watching this.
Yeah, and then he just he was a superhuman because his spatial memory is awesome because he knows everything in his atelier, where it is and what it is. And then when we went there, me my friends, he asked, oh, whatever you move or add, tell me. I'm gonna touch and gonna memorize, and I'm gonna know how to walk and stuff.
Like this, understanding this, the where things are in the room.
Wow, man! And then he walked like he was looking. Oh, John, we put the tripod here, and then okay, oh yeah, and then he went there, and then he goes, and then just turn around. This
amazing.
Amazing.
The beauty of neuroplasticity right there.
And then other thing is after like 2 days he was painting, and then we came in his atelier, stood in his studio. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Diogo. Good morning, Feijó. Good morning, Rod. In the sequence.
Of you guys walking.
Yeah. And then how do you know? How do you know? Yeah, because you are more light than everybody, and then Feijó is heavier, and then how do you know? It's the sound and how you walk.
It's
Oh my.
amazing.
The other senses are picking up. They become heightened.
It's amazing. There's so much happening right now that we aren't aware of. But we have the ability to be conscious of it. And
There's
to
a
be aware of it.
restaurant in London where you go and you dine in the dark, and all of the
Wow.
and there's all the restaurant noises and everything like this, and all of the waiting staff are all blind.
Wow.
So in that moment, when you cross over and you go into the place, and you hand in your mobile phone and everything like that, you go over there, and because they're all blind, they know where all the seats are, and they know where to take you and lead you, and it's like you're stepping into their world as well. So it's like everybody is on a different level, and then all the senses get heightened naturally, and then you're eating food. Being in a restaurant, listening to all these different things, and it's just it's a really beautiful concept, but your story is
That's amazing.
that's brilliant. You know what I mean? That his synesthesia and everything like that, and all of his senses got heightened. And you're saying that the art that he does, it's not abstract, it's realistic.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you do like portraits and?
Yeah, I'm gonna say something. Just let me check.
That's
So,
amazing.
I saw a portrait of his son. Like, oh, this is his son. But he,
But you didn't know who drew it?
huh?
Did you know that he had done it?
And I asked how do you know how did you do that? And then I touched my son's face, and I painted.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
How did he know?
yeah.
Like,
Look, if I touched your face, I'm still not going to be able to paint it with a blindfold.
so he
I don't know, I'd
painted.
still
Did
struggle.
and from your perspective, did it look like his son? Like, did
For
you?
sure, because I saw. Oh,
Oh, that's his son.
yeah,
So you knew just by looking at it.
yeah. And then I asked.
and he touched his son and then drew his son.
Yeah.
In such good quality, enough for someone who didn't know.
Yeah.
That's mad.
But it gets worse. Worse.
Better.
Better. Yeah. And I saw a painting of in France the
Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower. And wow, this is a very kind of different perspective of that. And then I told I asked it, how do you know it's so looks like you are under and looking. Did how do you know? "Ah, I have some kind of
Photographic memory.
photograph memory, but sometimes I get some souvenirs or miniatures, and I touch and I imagine and I draw. And
Wow.
yeah, and he had a 3D printer, the very first ones 3D printers, and he used to print some stuff to touch and draw, just to know how just to know new stuff like, oh, there is a new blah 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 stuff,
So amazing.
and then he prints in 3D. He touches. Oh, okay, I get it.
Well,
Did you what? Yeah.
I
Like,
was
where did I start? That I would have just been mesmerized.
no.
what was it like to be shooting this?
Yeah.
First, I was in depression, taking pills, and was life changing for me. And me and my friends, the team was very good because we were like very close friends doing the documentary.
Just a question: how was it life changing?
How?
Because you said that you were on pills and that it was life changing for you. What changed?
Because when we are in depression, we see everything with the bad lens, and then that story and looking, man, he is doing what he loves, even with the difficulties, and he's always smiling. And when sometimes when we forgot to say, oh, we changed this place, we put the light here, because we got used to, right? And then boom, he just hit with the head and hit, and then he always smile. Oh man, you guys are used with me, right? And then always happy. And then, oh man, what I'm complaining about again, you know? Um, Sometimes we just saw like he's not blind, man. And then at that times when he hits, when he forgot, when we got used to, no, and okay, he's out of the
Oh, so you were questioning he's not blind.
we every night
It's fake.
every night when we went to the hotel, we were like, man, he's not blind.
Yeah, he's faking it.
Yeah. And then sometimes something happens, and okay, he is.
This is too good to be true.
Yeah, and then you're hitting, or
That's a part of you trying to hang on to. This can't be right. This can't be right.
But it's cool though. It sounds like, again, if you're looking at the arc of your life, again, when you've gone off track, something's come in, and then you get perspective again, because you as a visual artist yourself, you're literally going to a guy he can't see, and he's creating visual art that's so on point that you're questioning whether or not he's actually blind. But it's also, again, it's perspective. It's like, he's a guy who's still getting after it, even with all of this, So
Yeah, the
absolutely.
universe was given has given you a lot of lessons within these challenges, within these perspectives, within these experiences, to help you become more of who you are, like to bring out the artist inside of you.
Yeah, I think is I love my profession. A lot of people pays or don't have condition to go where I'm able to go, or to know people that my profession just link for me with a goal, with
Purpose.
purpose, you know, and it's awesome. It's like, you know, it's like watching TV, but you know, in real life, because a lot of stuff that I used to watch in TV, like how factories, like people, like places, I watch with my eyes, and I'm recording that stuff, you know, and so I'm very grateful, and also it's helping me. This kind of situations, different situations, places, people, conditions, perspectives, helps me to grow more as a human being, right?
As an individual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing.
Well, Michael, we're coming to the end. All good things have to come to an end. Where can people find you? If people want to look at your work and see this awesome documentary, and when you put out the Unified documentary, but where can people find your work?
Um, you can see my professional work at my website, Michel Tiocin. I think, you know, it's better to write
Yeah.
.com.
Because it's actually Michael,
Ye-
but they say Michel here in Brazil.
Yeah, yeah. Because Michel is French, you know,
Michel.
French.
It's also a female name.
Yeah, and it's female name in
English. And so if you were to say Michelle,
Yeah,
I'm going to spell that differently to Michael.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's
We're gonna write it.
We're gonna
Don't digress. Where can people find you?
my website.com and Instagram. In Instagram I'm very like more personal, and in my website it's more professional.
Okay, so it is Michelle.
Tiocin.com or Instagram at Michel Tiocin. That's it.
All right, perfect. All right, we did it, boys.
Boom.
Thank you.
All right, see you later.